Men cannot get pregnant. I'm going to say it again. Men cannot get pregnant. It's not hard to say. It's not like a hard thing for anyone to know. It's scientific, it's biological. Men cannot get pregnant. So I'm sure you've seen that viral video of a fertility doctor in a hearing being unable to admit in any way that men cannot get pregnant. I understand if you're have a left-leaning or a progressive or a specific ideology or a specific understanding of identity, and you feel like, I don't fully understand how you got to that conclusion, but I understand you did get to that conclusion. So I wholeheartedly get that that is a way that some people do believe. I do not understand how you can call yourself a doctor and a fertility doctor, no less. I would question any fertility doctor who cannot say the exact words, men cannot get pregnant, and can't even function in their brain to twist their narrative a little bit, twist that script just a little bit so that they can fit their own ideology into that. I think it goes into that whole Matt Walsh, What is a Woman? Whether you like him or not, it's a pretty fun watch. I think it's the Daily Wire who has it, that movie. But it's just when you cannot define something, then you're also negating anyone who wants to be identified in that vein. So I think it's in anyone's best interest who has these different gender identities to be able to define very specifically what that means to them, and also understand very specifically the difference in biology versus identity, because there is a difference. It's very important, because then you can have factual conversations, you can have debates, and they would have some depth to them. Because if you say that there's not a difference, then why would someone go through any gender affirming care? Why would someone go and to try to change things about their body to look like a gender that they feel more is their identity? So I think there are these things that are not, the math is not mathing. When you cannot separate actual biological facts from an identity policy or identity politics, then I do feel like your foundation is not very strong to stand on. And this woman really did not do anything good for the cause. She didn't. She made it a joke. Any clever person could have answered that and not shamed gender ideology that they believe in, because it was so easy to do. You could say that there are many different people who identify as men who can get pregnant because biologically they are women. It's simple. That is literally just a scientific fact. That as a doctor who corrected the woman asking the question, they said her name and she specifically was like, I'm a doctor, call me a doctor. I question that. And I question where you got your doctorate. And I question anyone who got a doctorate from that same place if they did not teach a fertility doctor that men cannot get pregnant. Do not go to that doctor. I'm not sure your odds of getting pregnant are good. They can't even tell you the truth about a scientific fact. What are they going to tell you about your body? Are they just going to tell you what you want to hear? So this is where I'm confused as to what level of brainwash or cultism it takes to not be able to say a scientific fact without feeling like you are going against or like shaming someone. And it was asked so many times. If you have not seen this clip, I recommend going to find it. I know you probably wish I would play clips on here, but I just don't want any of that copyright stuff. I don't play other people's clips at this point in time. But over and over and over, this woman was asked. Well, actually, the first set was another woman asking this group of women on this panel, and she just passed by. She was like, okay, you're not going to answer. I'm going to move to the next person, who easily answered all the question, biologically speaking, correctly. And then there was a man who came on who was not going to have that. And he spent several minutes just asking her over and over and over and over. I mean, I was shocked at the stoicness of all the people behind them. I was just waiting for someone to be like, what is happening? There was this one point, this woman putting a water bottle down. I'm not sure what she was doing. I feel like she was hiding her Snickers, like snickering. Do people not say that? It felt weird to say it. I feel like she wanted to giggle and she was hiding it. That's what I thought. But they were just straight faced. And maybe it was because they were enraged at just the sheer audacity of a person to force someone to call them a doctor who's also not admitting biological facts. I don't know. Maybe they were just angry, but it really, I watched it and I laughed. I've watched it several times and I've watched a lot of commentary about it. This brings me to a bigger issue and something that I don't understand. Obviously, this is why I'm doing this specific quick hit video. My list of all the quick hits, this was one that was on the top of the list. Why was that so hard? There were other people that I'm sure were more progressive, that I'm sure were believing these different gender ideologies, and they were able to say, biologically, no, men cannot get pregnant. They were able to say that. It's not against any rule. It's not against any person to say what a scientific fact is. That has nothing to do with what you're identifying as is. It has nothing to do with even a gender identity. It just has to do with biology. They were talking about biology, man. So that was one thing I just wanted to come on and talk about really quickly. I have nothing real to add to this except for the question of why is that such a damaging thing to say? And I feel like she was doing it so she wouldn't get canceled. Like she couldn't possibly not believe biology. I mean, she did go to medical school, possibly. I question that still. Didn't get her credentials. But basically, I am not sure if your belief cannot withstand just saying facts about biology without crumbling in your own mind. I question the validity and strength of what you're believing. And I don't feel like every person who believes that would not have been able to answer that question. You can say what you think about gender identity and still be okay to say something about men versus women and biological sense of who can get pregnant and who cannot. Like it was easily done. It was easily done. That's it. We're 10 minutes in. I'm done. Let me know what your thoughts are.
Let's go.